I always had the impression that this desire for truth must come out of a feeling that one is isolated and alone and full of fear. And there is this feeling that everybody has. I have to take myself and carry myself through life with effort. That very feeling that makes you feel you're alone. I mean, there are a lot of things, people, stuff that you can possess, even stuff that seem to promise you that they're gonna make your life easier. But there's always this feeling of never being able to really just relax and know that things are going to be good. Like a real feeling of satisfaction. It's just not there if there's an ego. So there's an ego that is afraid, it's alone, it's isolated, it is constantly thinking about problems with itself. It is in this isolated thought process, it's alone there, and nobody can really relate. I mean, even if you're talking to a therapist, he cannot really understand what's going on inside of you. He cannot understand what's going on inside of you. You know what's going on inside of you as an ego, the one who's suffering, the one that's trapped in this mind. When we were children, those people who had a somewhat good childhood, there's no such thing as a perfect childhood, but I'm just saying that if you had a relatively good childhood, then sometimes you had this feeling that somehow just it's going to work, there's no problem, you don't have to worry. So you were able to just fall asleep knowing that things are just going to naturally unfold and you don't have to worry because your parents will take care. But I believe that this feeling of being carried did not come from the knowing that I have parents and they're gonna take care of me. This feeling of being carried did not come from the parents. It came from something else. And I believe it came from you, who you truly are. When we grow up and we have to face the world and we have to we are being confronted with problems and we have to face it, then we are being told that, you have to stand on your own. You have to do it by yourself. You have to get your shit together. You have to have it all together. You have to understand how life works and you're on your own. Now you have to become the provider, which is true in a way. But with that comes an inner sense of dissatisfaction because you're on your own. You get this deep feeling of being in survival mode, basically. You constantly have to check if there's enough money, food, it's like you're constantly gathering this stuff. You don't want to let it go because you think that's your life. Because you think you have to constantly control everything. So, and out of this, there's a fear that is arising out of this, and there's also something else that is arising out of this fear. It's this deep desire to find God. I'm not saying a religious God, I'm just saying in a metaphorical way, you are trying to find something that is taking care of you, that is wiser than you, bigger than you, more intelligent than you. And I get the impression that people who are looking for the realization that you can get in this on this non-duality path, the recognition that you should get is a recognition of an intelligence that is taking care of you. But it's a different kind of realization than just believing in a God. When you're believing in a God, you're believing in something that is separate from you, that is very wise, and it will take care of your life. There is still the assumption that you are someone who has control. Actually, you never really have control. You can worry, but that doesn't make anything. It's sucking your energy out of your system, but it doesn't really keep you safe. So in this realization that you can get in non-duality, there is this felt experience that actually I don't have anything under control. I never had. anything under control, but yet I'm still here. So what is the intelligence that kept me safe all this time? Who's beating my heart? Who is breathing in my lungs? Who is thinking my thoughts? Who's the one that's, regenerating my skin all the time? Who's the one that's growing my hair? Who's the one that's speaking through this mouth? And all of a sudden, if you question this, there's a feeling that, wait a minute, there's not just me, there's life, and it's so much bigger than me. Like, for example, there's a wall. Who made this? I'm not talking about the human who made this wall, like who made the actual material. Where that's a kind of intelligence that is always here, but it is overlooked. And when the ego really realizes that, wait a minute, there is an intelligence that is taking care of life, it is life taking care of life, then who am I compared to it? Am I really real? Do I really have anything under control? Or am I just an expression of it? When something changes, when you have this realization, because when you're a seeker, you feel that you are controlling it. You have to seek, you have to make it. And then something changes. All of a sudden, you don't feel like you are a seeker anymore, but you feel that life is just spontaneously flowing through you. And there's a deep felt knowing that whatever is meant to find you will just automatically come into your way. So there's no feeling of lack anymore, because you know that you are guided all the time. You don't even have to pray. It is just living. It is already living through you. And that's where fear stops, because when you feel like a separate little self, you're only in your tiny little box, thinking with yourself about your problems, and you feel isolated because you feel like you cannot share your problems with everyone. With anyone. But here's something I did when I was a child. I opened up as I was closing my eyes, and instead of just thinking about my problems with myself, I opened up, and there was just this space which is looking black because of my eyelids, but I was talking to that space as if there is an entity that is listening to me, and I didn't give it a name. But it felt like there is someone that's hearing what I'm saying. And something strange happened. When I'm talking about my problems with myself, the stress and the tension is increasing. But when I'm talking to the space, as if there's someone listening, it is decreasing. And somehow also my emotional state changes. So it was just something spiritual. It was a spiritual experience that just came intuitively. And to me, that was God, but I didn't call it that. It was just this emptiness right here. And when I'm talking to it, instead of talking to myself, the energy completely changes. But it cannot be seen. It's not really a thing. It's just a felt presence that cannot really be felt with one of your senses. But when you're opening up to it as an ego, when you're looking from the perspective of an ego, from the ego, talking to the thing that is unknown, that is empty, that is so infinite, and it's so close to you and intimate, but at the same time it's not personal. It doesn't judge. When you're opening up to it, somehow the ego is not being suppressed by the stillness. It is becoming familiar with the stillness until it falls in love with the stillness, and it is merging with the stillness until the ego is no more. And then there is this felt sense of non-duality, because you no longer feel like you are controlling any of this. I'm not controlling what I'm saying, how I'm moving my hands, how this video is happening right now, but it is just an expression spontaneously happening with the message that there is a way to live without fear. Because you feel isolated because you're thinking to yourself, and because you think that you are a center that can control something, can make decisions, and is living its life, but you constantly have to live in this fear. You're not feeling connected. You don't feel connected to people because you are trying to protect something. But once you open up to the other half of you, which has been abandoned by you, which is not something that you did on purpose, but you just overlooked the other half of you, which is silent. Once you're opening up to it, this fear will disappear because there's a felt knowing that life is moving through you. That means you don't have to carry yourself. You have never carried yourself. It was always living through you. You never had to worry. So it's not, you don't have to make a prayer to a God and ask, please hold me, or please show me the way. No, you don't even have to pray. It's like it's already going the way. It's already moving. You're not doing it. It is just a personal thought that says, I did it. I chose this. And that's like the highest prayer. It's not something you say. It's not that you're talking to consciousness, but it's just this ego knowingly being present with the thing that is infinite, which is not a thing really, but it's the presence of your truest self. And just merging with it and knowingly being in the flow. There's just this flow of life, which is you, and there's an opening and there's a knowing that everything is one and everyone is an expression of this, of who you are. And then there's no longer the question about manifestation, although it can be that there is an appearance of an ego, which is not, there's not a lot of identification with this new ego that is emerging out of this awakened stillness, but this ego still has the desire to manifest something, which is totally okay. But it's just also an expression that is happening by itself. It's not really you who is trying to manifest, and now there's no longer the feeling that you have to do it right, because there's just this deep feeling that whatever's coming will come anyway. So even if there is an appearance of someone, of an I that has a personal desire, it is being seen by this big consciousness which is controlling everything anyway. So there is no room or space for loneliness or isolation, because you have never been isolated or lonely. There was always this intelligence which was the underlying intelligence that is keeping this whole universe intact. It was always thinking for you. Because you can see how it works for you. You can never really control any situation. Let's say, for example, you are a boy and you have a girlfriend and you meet her parents for the first time, and now you think, how should I behave? Because I don't want to be seen as someone who is like who's being disliked. I don't want to be seen as someone who is just an idiot. So I'm overthinking about how should I act so that I can leave a good impression. And then you're overthinking about it because you're afraid of being perceived in the wrong way. And now you think, how should I behave? How should I behave? And then you really get an idea of how you should behave. And then the day comes and you want to behave like that, and you don't behave like that at all. Because it just doesn't work like that. But it would just happen like that. But if you knew that I don't have to hope or control or do anything, it will just unfold naturally, it will be good, I'm going to be good, then that's like, then you're in touch with the eternal flow. Let's call it that. So yeah, it's available here right now.